I got to be honest. I don't read any of my emails at work, and I'm pretty sure one of the owners in my company occasionally watches.
Yeah. Well, we all know emails are optional, right?
Not for me.
I don't think they're optional for me either. I just don't read them.
I have no choice because even if I don't read the email, they'll call me on the radio and be like, "Hey, I sent you an email."
That's well, we get that, and he left. We get that too. You get the email, and then like 30 seconds later, you get the text about, "Did you get the email about this?" Now they both left. That's neat.
All right.
Oh, we got one of you back.
Sorry. It's been a long day. Had a closing, and then we had a company meeting that was halfway across town. And because I live closer to the neighborhood than the other two builders out there, and one of them is off, the other builder, he's like, uh, so you're going to come back and lock everything up tonight, right? And I'm like, I mean, I can, but help me out so I'm not locking up 30 houses on my own after the meeting, getting home, got awful late. I'm like, why don't you lock up the ones that we don't have any work going on or any trades in? He's like, yeah, I can do that. And then I had the closing with these buyers, did a final walkthrough. They were late because they wanted to wait on the realtor. And then, so I got to the meeting late. And then while I was at the meeting, he's like, oh yeah, I forgot to lock up any of the houses, and there's a lot of appliances in them, and they all need to be locked up. So I had to lock up 37 houses on my own this evening.
Well, you seem really stoked about it, so that's cool.
Yeah. Then I had to go to Lowe's and get paint because the wife wants me to kids colored on the wall with permanent marker, and
Maybe if she actually watched them once in a while.
try to clean them, and that'd be a miracle. But yeah, I tried to clean the walls and it's not coming off, and parts where it did come off, it rubbed off the paint, and so
if you, I don't know if it'll work on a wall or not, but the trick is like if somebody puts permanent marker on an erase board, if you color over it with a washable marker and then wipe it off, it might come off.
It doesn't.
No, you need the alcohol.
Yeah,
It's the alcohol and the dry erase marker, but the sheetrock absorbs it is the problem.
Or you could just set the house on fire.
That's the second option.
Thinking about that, problem is I don't think I'd be able to get enough money to afford a house in this current market. So
sounds like you need a better house.
Trying to make this one last a little bit.
Or a worse market.
I mean, we are heading our way to a recession. But if you ask our commander in chief, the stock market has had the most changes in history in the last 4 months that it's ever had in the history of the stock market. Yeah, dumbass, you see what the numbers are doing? Everything's declining. Wow.
He's going to be the one that takes us down this road.
Yeah, sorry.
I think I would be okay if I took this to work.
I don't see a problem with it.
Yeah, no, the ATF might, though. Or the FBI.
Minor characters.
Homeland Security might.
They want to be comfortable or not?
Cool. Tallulah. Hi.
Well, you got to do your thing.
What thing?
You know damn good and well what thing. Come on, James, do it.
You want me to go ahead and do that? Tallulah, hush. It's fine. Sorry, because my Great Dane has seizures. Sometimes my dachshund loses her shit, and anytime she hears my Great Dane scratching and does the collar thing, my dachshund goes crazy and starts barking.
Okay, Dahmer, get on with it.
Yeah. So we have a Facebook group. Me and Nick are not on the Facebook. I don't think Jay's on the Facebook either.
It exists, but I don't really use it for anything other than funny pictures.
Yeah, still currently banned. I
think they're called
that's all I
memes.
heard.
So if you try to message me, I will not answer you.
Yep, but Nick's lovely wife, she manages the Facebook group
I wouldn't call her lovely, but
that
Yeah.
our group has with our loyal 3 viewers, 2 of which
Only the
are
3 of
probably
us.
on this live stream. You can also follow us on the Twitter and the Instagram for some additional content. The Twitter handle is at RV and Tradesman.
I'll show you my handle.
Then Instagram is the
Show
underscore
us your handle.
Tradesman, TRDSMN.
If you can't spell
We do have
tradesman,
an
you
Amazon
probably
affiliate
should.
link. Not sure if that works or not, or what's going on with that.
Never looked into it.
Yep. So feel free to try to use the link if you want to. It might work, might not. Cut it out, YouTube. And sorry, I'm broadcasting inside my house tonight because.
Not in his he shed.
Yep. Anyways, feel free to send us emails or donate on to us on PayPal at the.
It's got to be divisible by 3.
Yep.
Everything's divisible by 3 if you're poor enough.
And but yeah, feel free
I'm
to
not giving each of you 50 cents.
like, subscribe, follow. We say some inappropriate stuff, so if you
Not sure
get
what to
offended
do with my
easily,
hands right now.
if you don't listen to what we have to say, we're all very opinionated about people who like to use brands that are
Wall tools.
yeah. Boris, stop messing with the box, sweetheart.
You got to push the door. You got to push.
Jiggle and then push. Push it real good.
No, don't mouth me.
I guess I could adventure if we need time to kill 2. I could adventure into what my new gig entails.
Yeah, what are we
Everybody's-
talking about?
If anybody's
Wasn't it-
interested in hearing it, please comment. And then if you don't comment, you might hear it anyway.
Can you do it in 3 minutes?
I work for government.
That's unfortunate.
It is.
Oh, and just a quick reminder for everybody
I
out there. Sorry to cut you off, Jay, but we do see your comments when they come through. What we do try to do is we will get to them. We try to save that for the last 10, 15 minutes of the show. So, yeah, that's
As he reads the comment that just came in, as he gets distracted by it.
I do it all the time, so. I mean,
It is very distracting,
in fact,
Sure.
I've even addressed one already, so.
right?
yep. But cool. So,
All right.
everyone can see. I don't know if our
I do have a quote. I got that far prepared ahead.
I
awesome.
don't prepare shit.
You never prepare anything. We expect nothing out of you, and sometimes we don't even get that much.
Listen, pal, I was trying to open this wine bottle, okay?
Yeah. Those corkscrews can be so difficult.
Yeah,
I don't
man.
drink wine typically, so I don't know how to use them that well.
Doesn't have the little tab on it that you pop.
Cool. So what's the
All right.
hit us with the quote there? Knock some wisdom on us.
Well, since you wanted to get all political, I figured we just go with George Washington. It also sticks with our military theme.
Yes.
A nation which indulges toward another habitual hatred or habitual fondness is in some degree a slave. Came from the 1796 farewell address, where he's addressing having foreign alliances. So, there, take that.
Take
It's
it.
also my opinion on the war in the Ukraine. All right,
I have a lot of opinions on that, but keep that shit.
it's not for this one.
No.
Next one.
We'll save it to where I'm drunker and I really can't filter myself whatsoever.
Kind
Save it
of.
for a
not
day
be.
that I can drink. We'll really get into it.
You on call this weekend?
I am.
Nice.
And yet I still drag myself in here. So today's topic is a little bit different. Normally we're discussing different things within the trade, what it's like to work or live inside of this little bubble we find ourselves in. But I heard another podcast talking about this one, and Jay, you probably know who this guy is. Brian Orr with HVAC School.
I'm bad with names, so sure. I've heard of the podcast.
Well, he's the guy that does the podcast. They were talking about, like, will
I was
the
gonna say I
trade...
don't listen to it, so
It's not bad. They were discussing, will the trades ever become automated? Kind of like a Terminator style type thing. And when they did this, it was back in 2017 or 2016, somewhere around there. And they were talking about some of the technology then, but it's actually, the technology has progressed, even further from that point. And I thought it might be a cool thing to kind of touch up on, revisit. And from what I remember, Hudson's like a big Terminator nerd anyway, so
Kind of.
I like Terminator 2 because it has a sexy, hot, naked lady in it.
The second Terminator, I like what's the Sarah Connor? I always thought she was pretty good looking. I forget the chick that plays her though.
Irrelevant.
Yeah, I mean,
Still doesn't top Helen Hunt, but yeah.
I mean, look, we can't start ranking blondes. Okay, we'll be here all night.
Fair enough.
But it's kind of an interesting thing to think about. Personally, in our lifetime, I don't think we're ever going to see it because, I mean, what year does Terminator even take place in?
Ask him.
I don't remember. Honestly, I think it's
God.
I think it was 2021. The first Terminator is when it was supposed to take place.
Is it that soon? I thought it was like. Let's see what Google has to say on the matter. So it starts in 2029.
2029. Oh.
Yeah. I think RoboCop is 2021.
That's right.
Yeah.
Boy, we dropped the ball on that.
So, I mean, shut up. We're not good at this. So, I mean, you're talking about, something 7 years into the future, they're predicting robot destruction of the world and taking over and things like that. But, I mean, obviously, as we can see, the technology is not there. But, I mean, it's definitely getting there. What's that one company? I think it's Boston Dynamics that has the robot that they've made like a soldier out of.
Yeah, we're definitely getting there, and there's a lot of one of the healthcare providers up my way. I don't remember who offhand, but they have a lot of robots like performing operations and stuff like that. Yeah, some of the real small, tedious stuff that's just difficult for people to get in and out of.
And keep a steady hand through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is Boston Dynamics. And here, I'll do the old share screen share here.
Get booted for copyright. I
Fuck
like
you,
it.
copyright.
If I didn't get booted for what I said about DeWalt people, I think we'd be fine.
But well, that's actually something I was going to get to later as we got into it. Personally, I think doctors are going to be like automated before we are.
Yeah,
because you think about you think about like what we do. There's a lot of variables, and I mean, a robot of any kind is really just a computer, and it's just if this then this. To where we have so many different variables, at least in like what you and I do, Jay, and even what you do, Caleb, we have so many different variables that it
That's Caleb.
almost makes it to where it has to be like an AI Terminator type thing,
Yeah.
to be able to do it.
Well,
But
you got to learn on the fly too.
right, where the doctor, I mean, if you think about like a doctor, you could go in there and all the world's knowledge of medicine can be in this one place. And basically, you're looking at like temperature, blood pressure, pulse, things of that nature. Not to oversimplify what doctors do, but at the end of the day, they're just taking a bunch of readings and then, performing tests based on the readings that they get.
Yeah.
Which half the time comes from a computer in the first place.
Well, it's a different thing.
I mean, I feel like that's a fair assessment.
Well, I'm saying like when they decide like what tests they want to do and stuff like that, most of that comes from computers now.
Oh no, they moved it. Where did it go?
I could see maybe some aspects of the trades becoming automated in the future, but I don't
like
think
manufacturing wise and stuff like that. Sure.
Or like if you look at or think about like a giant like chiller stuff, like y'all have to walk in and clean and everything like that. I definitely.
Oh, he's going to tell us about chillers. Hang on. Go ahead.
Just from the pictures and stuff that you've sent me and how big they are, and talk about like, some of the maintenance as far as like cleaning and prep, getting ready to go and do your work in there. Like I could see where that aspect of the job could become automated because, that's like cleaning and like simple maintenance like that is, I don't want to say like, or use the word mundane task, but that maybe it's
no.
more,
What you're talking about, like unskilled work.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
That's pretty much just like following instructions. In some cases.
So real quick, here's the Boston Dynamics robot that I was talking about. It's this guy here, and just look it up on YouTube later. We've gotten in trouble for sharing shit from YouTube. So, but I mean, the thing is, it's pretty damn cool what it does. I mean, and you can actually see. I'll bring this picture up. They'll go behind it and smack it with a baseball bat, or knock it down and try and trip the thing up, and it just gets right back up. So, I mean, it's incredible what they've done with it.
Yeah.
But back to what we were doing. Jay is using the restroom, probably.
No, I'm here.
No,
are you? Your camera went away. But what you're talking about, Caleb, is like unskilled labor.
Yeah. Like the task that it's like a skilled labor has to do to be able to get into their job, or like a regular system maintenance, not something where it's like you are going to try to diagnose a problem like, hey, there's a leak here, a leak there. Because from what I understand with some of your stuff, I mean, a lot of your calls or service calls, Nick, a lot of times you have a guy that's, for lack of better terminology, is in a computer room and he's getting an alarm from the system saying, hey, we have an issue, or we're getting an error read message on this unit here. But then that's where you have to go out and basically start from point A and track it all the way back to where the error or whatever issue is going on. I don't think that stuff's going to be automated.
Well, and sometimes, some of that, like what you were talking about, you got a guy in a control room somewhere that calls you. Some of that, the actual equipment calls you now. It just, it calls you, but it sends you an email and says, hey, this didn't happen within some set period of time or something, and it emails you, and it emails an operator or a building maintenance guy or something like that, and then we just show up.
Yeah.
And
that's kind of like on my side, like with a new homeowner, when they move into a house, they have an issue or something, or like a cabinet breaks or the AC goes down within like the first 2 years or something like that. they go to our website and submit what we call, just a warranty ticket where they describe it. And the way our system was up to about a month ago was the homeowner would submit a warranty request, like just fill in the blank. This is my name. This is my address. This is the neighborhood I live in. This is what's going on. The system would send an email to like one of our scheduling personnel, who would then have to take that. They would get an email kind of like what you're talking about. They would get the email. They'd have to look at what it was that the homeowner was describing. And then they would have to go back into the system, create the whole ticket, and then assign it to either the builder or the warranty rep in that neighborhood. And then we'd go there. We just went over to a new system where whenever the homeowner types in the information, they have to select what the deficiency is, and it automatically creates and sends some of the deficiencies out to the trades directly instead of it being sent to our scheduler, who then sends it to us, and then we have to send it off to the trade.
So they're automating the CSR, the customer service representative.
To an extent, we still have
I think the ultimate goal is to get rid of that, $35,000 a year employee.
Yeah. But it's still like some of the things you still have to have someone that physically put eyes on it. Right now, the reason our company's gone to this program is they're trying to speed up the process as far as like when warranties are submitted and turnover rate, as far as like getting it scheduled and resolved. So it's like they're trying to streamline the system so we don't have as many variables that cause it to slow down.
Well, and think about, like travel agents. When you and I were kids, being a travel agent was a thing, and it probably still is to some degree. Some sort of like big time thing or whatever. Corporate or.
I do remember, like, you go to the mall and you'd have like 2 or 3, like you'd have that little strip in the corner of the mall, and it's like, hey, you have
there's always pictures of like the beach and
like cruises, in the Caribbean,
cruises,
flights out west, like Oregon, like retrace the Oregon Trail, bullshit. Like I remember like seeing that.
And I like how you said retrace the Oregon Trail bullshit, but that's actually something I want to do.
I think it'd be fun, honestly.
Do Donner's Pass.
Yeah.
You know the story there, don't you?
Bullshit, so.
You're right. No.
Do Donner Pass. Do the whole thing. Actually eat somebody and everything.
That would be fun.
See?
People might look at you the wrong way, but hey, it happens.
You got to do what you got to do to survive the mountains, buddy.
Yeah, man.
They can't look at you if you just cut their face off.
That's true. Eat the face first. You don't want that face meat going to waste.
No, it's very tender from what I hear. Or would it be tough?
Moist.
It's a lot of muscle. I mean,
it'd probably be. Oh no, like
you got a lot going on up there. I mean, I feel like those muscles are well used. It probably would be tough.
Yeah.
You dry age that, I think, right? You want to dry age the face meat?
Probably make a pretty decent jerky. Why the fuck are we talking about this?
Because we're dumb.
Because Dahmer's on Netflix.
Yeah. Anyways, next week.
No, Donner, Donner.
Our next broadcast
will
be in a federal penitentiary while they dig up all our yards to find remains.
It's great because then I wouldn't have to go far for work.
That's true. He has a point. Well, kind of to what Caleb was talking about, they were trying to do that at the place that you worked before, weren't they, Jay? Trying to get rid of the CSR and have everybody sort of schedule, or most of the customers schedule everything online.
Yeah, they tried. It didn't work. But
it seems like kind of for whatever reason, a tough nut to crack.
In my industry with home building, there are some companies out there that have actually fully automated the physical structure of a house. where it's like they basically, I mean, what they did, they took the 3D printer technology, and they're like, let's figure out cure rate and set time with concrete, and figure out how we can program like a house, like a concrete structure, and 3D print it in a day.
See, I kind of like that though.
Yeah.
Because the major problem with the way houses are built today, and no offense, but it's the fact that, like, you know, in say like 1960, 1970, you would spend a year building a house.
Yeah.
Now we build an entire neighborhood in 3 months. So it's a lot, and granted, a lot of that has to do with technology advancing and things like that. And you have like prefab roof trusses and things that make life easier.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of the skill of the people is leaving it.
Yeah. Well, and that goes back to kind of like the whole purpose of, the tradesmen and stuff like that, like in skilled laborers. I can tell you right now, 90% of the guys that do punch items, there might be one or two guys in each trade that I deal with on a daily basis that are actual tradesmen, and like they're masters of the craft. Like carpentry, like there's maybe one or two master carpenters, but they're like a year or two from retirement. And then you have guys that right outside of high school, they're like, oh, I built
a shelf and shop.
Yeah, I did a shelf and shop, and like I followed the master carpenter with my company for a week while I was doing my onboarding, and now I can put trim in a house. But it's like when they're putting the trim in, they're just monitoring the corners, and they're not trying to get a tight 45-degree angle or like the actual, because contrary to popular belief, this kind of goes back to home building, kind of like what we were talking about.
Well, caulking makes good carpenters.
Yeah. But it's like back when people
would take
a whole house to build or a whole year to build a house, you had master carpenters that would come in, and they would take the time, they would coat corners so you'd have perfect edges every single time. And like back in the day, like my parents' house, I don't think there's any caulk on any of their baseboard or any of the trim in their house, and their house was built 26 years ago. But it also took like a year and a half for the house that my parents live in now that I grew up in. It took them a year and a half to fully build it.
It's a big house too.
Yeah. And then like the other thing with that,
I mean, you've seen my house, and I mean, granted, structurally the house is fine and things like that, but that was a quote general contractor that did all the work, and the one door, like it's still not right. The side door is still not right, but it's worlds better from what it was when I moved in because it's so out of plumb.
Yeah.
And the only reason that it's not more than what it is because I don't feel like taking the whole damn door frame apart to get in there and fix it.
Yeah.
And that's a, quote, general contractor that did that.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, like, I think back in the day, there was more pride in, like, people doing good work and stuff because going back to some of the skilled laborers that I deal with, like our trim installer, I won't mention the company's name. They're a pretty good installer, and they've got some good crews out there. But it's like they subcontract a lot of work to third parties, and a lot of these third parties just to get the big paycheck from that company that pays them to go sub out all this extra work. They're just looking for anyone's like, hey, do you know how to use a nail gun?
Yeah.
Or like a brad nailer. Like, can you use 10 snips to cut mitered corners on a quarter round? Yeah, I know how to do that. Can you use a circular saw and not cut off your fingers? Yeah. Guess what? You're hired. Go to this house and put baseboard and trim in the entire house. Anywhere that you have hardwood floors, put base and shoe mold. Okay, I can do that. And it's like, and we'll pay you, $28 an hour And the
Well,
more
they're probably getting them through a temp agency, and if they are, I mean, they're paying ridiculous rates to have those people. Because
yeah,
the last company that I worked for, they they were new construction, and towards the end of the company's life, they were falling behind on a lot of jobs, and they were hiring a lot of temp workers, and we were getting the exact same thing. You know, oh, and it's like there's certain things that you can probably sub out and get like temp workers for. I
yeah,
mean, granted, you can screw up a paint job on a house, but it's a lot harder to screw that up than it is to screw up wiring an electrical outlet in a house burning down or
yeah,
doing something drastically wrong, on the heating and air side that leads to mold in the house or, whatever.
yeah.
But
Well, like
it
on
was
my,
like, what experience do you have? And, I think the experience level was I have a tool bag, and they're like, well, you're hired.
I got a hammer and a bag of nails. What can I
Yeah.
what can I put together?
What can I put together on this air conditioner? Nothing. You can
Awesome.
put down some plywood in the attic so we can put the air conditioner on top of it, but I think the framer did that.
Yeah. Well, so and one thing I've noticed in mine, so we have two different contractors that we use. We got one for drywall and one for paint. Both companies we use, they have their own set of a lot of drywall companies. It's all in house where they have drywall crews, paint crews, and cleaning crews. Both of the ones that we have, they have both. But because one charges a little bit more to do paint and the other one charges a little bit less, we use paint for one, drywall for the other. But the interesting thing about that is I can't tell you how many times I've gone into one house while I've got guys doing paint touch up. Like in the morning, they're going through the house, doing final paint and everything like that. Any paint imperfections I find in like trim or on the wall or anything like that, or for drywall repairs, painting it so it all looks nice. And then like the next day, I go into a house that I have them doing drywall repairs in, and it's the same damn crew. And what it is, a lot of these guys, they just, they basically, they're two different companies, but it's like they sub out the same people for different tasks. So it's like all the painters that I deal with, they all know how to use drywall. And if there's a minor like drywall imperfection, they won't fix it because, oh, I'm here to paint today. So they'll paint right over it and you still have the drywall imperfection. It's like, why don't you take the time and the pride in your work and throw a little bit of spackle on it, go paint the rest of the wall, and then come back and touch up that one little area. That will take
They
you
didn't put spackle on that truck. The spackle's in the truck with the blue logo on it. This one's got the red logo on it.
Exactly. And then another one that happened interesting. I can't speak right now. I'll tell you, being up since 1 a.m. and having the day that I had, it's not good for the brain.
I don't see a problem with it.
Yeah. You probably do it more than I do. So like our,
I don't know. I think we're about the same rate.
probably as far as sleep and wake ratio.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a good like 95-5 ratio.
yeah, something like that. But
Get a good 2 hours, 2.5 hours in your 24-hour day. You're good to go.
Yeah. One thing I have seen like happen a lot in the housing market as far as like trades and manpower, a lot of the trades we work with are contractors. They're like, hey, we were fully staffed last week, but this week we only have like 2 crews still with us. Everyone else left. Well, I still see the same guys that were doing punch work for them, but they're with the other company doing trim work. And then
they're getting paid another 25 cents on the hour.
Yeah. And then I have some trim guys, like some of the better trim guys that I had. There were 3 guys with our trim installer. I knew them all by name. Every now and then if I had something like, hey, I forgot to put this on the work order, or I just saw this, or hey, shit, this just happened. Is there any way you can throw like a new piece of cord round down or adjust this, door for me? Like, I know you've already been in here all day. Like, can you just like take 5 minutes to do it? Like, I'll give you a hand adjusting the door, doing whatever. And they're like, yeah, not a problem. Well, those 3 guys, they took pride in the carpentry work that they did. And when they went to the company and asked them like, hey, can I have a little bit more money? Because one thing I've noticed is like nowadays, if you are really good at your job, instead of being paid more or given more like monetary compensation or like time off or something like that, you were giving your the companies are giving you more work. It's like, oh, you're really efficient, you do a really good job, everybody's requesting you. Guess what? Your workload has now doubled. And what they did is they went back to their the company and they're like, hey, like I get that, like I'm very flattered, but is there any way I can get some additional pay since I'm working longer hours and working doing twice as many jobs during the day as the rest of our punch crews? And the companies came back and said no. So then what they did,
Well, that's not in the budget. We're not charging enough for that.
yeah. And so what they did, they went around to some of our other trade partners that did similar work, like our cabinet installers. Believe it or not, carpenters and cabinet installers, two different fields. So they went to the cabinet installer like, hey, what do y'all pay for this? And what's a daily routine for someone doing punch items? Because the cabinet installers, they subcontract out different companies to do what they call rough-ins, where they literally just take the cabinet, sit in the corner, and put 2 screws into the wall, and then that's it. They pay guys just for the heavy moving, of the cabinets and put them in place, and then they have the punch guys come back later, put all the hardware on, do touch-ups, and do more of the intricate work, and like put trim pieces on so everything looks nice. And so that's where like where one trade
Can't use that word on YouTube.
What?
Oh.
Yeah.
Hope you know, buddy, that comment did not show up for everyone.
Right?
Yeah. Yep.
That's one we couldn't ignore for a moment.
No. I could do the whole screen share thing and then everybody can see it.
Yeah, and then we'll get booted.
I don't know if that's a good idea.
I mean, never mind.
I've already accidentally said it in this video, so
yeah.
But yeah.
Well, we've called DeWalt people things
many times and alluded to it. But it's
what you're getting at though is exactly why I thought this was such a good topic that they were discussing, because it kind of like you said, there's a few guys left that you see on a day-to-day basis that take pride in their work and they're getting ready to retire. Well, it's the same thing in like what Jay and I do. And there are, people that our age and younger people than us that take pride in their work. And I'm not saying that those people don't exist, but the overwhelming majority of the people that you see anymore, you can tell they have no idea what they're doing. They don't know why they do it. They don't know.
Well, and another part of that is they're just young in the trades. They might have 5 years of experience, but there's no way you can have a guy with 5 years of experience match the guy that's got 35 years of experience.
I see a lot of people that have 1 year of experience 20 times over.
Yeah.
They've never learned anything in 20 years. They learned everything in the first year that they needed to know to fix, say, 80% of the problems that they come across, and then that's it. And that's why I, got to thinking, like, at what point does somebody come along and say, why don't we just automate all this? Because truth be told, like we made the association with the doctors at the beginning, they take a bunch of readings and then they go, oh, you need this pill or you need this surgery or this is what's wrong with you, whatever it is, whatever the case may be. But truth be told, that's all that me and Jay do is we take a bunch of readings on an air conditioner and then we go, yep, this is what the problem is. It's got a restriction in the liquid line.
Yeah.
Needs a new filter dryer.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, going back and again, not trying to pick at the medical field too much, but I mean, ever since COVID hit, I don't know how healthy y'all's families have been, but I know we've all had some sort of thing. I've got 2 young kids that are in and out of like school and everything. So my family, we're exposed to every sickness that goes out there, strep, flu, recently got over the flu. Even COVID, I still have yet to contract it. But besides the point, thing is, like, anytime if we need to do a doctor's appointment, a lot of the stuff and a lot of the medical practices, before they will see you in person, they'll do like a teleconference and talk to you, like they'll schedule a Skype meeting.
Oh, I had saw one guy one day that said the doctor was telling him to take out his own stitches.
Yeah,
And telling him how to do it over the, over the computer or whatever, or via iPad
well, like
or
simple
something.
stuff like that, trying to limit I know when COVID was real big and everything was shut down, we had a couple COVID scares, ended up just being the flu or strep for our kids. But first thing we do, we schedule a video conference with the doctor. Okay, what's your symptoms? This. What's your current temperature? This. Can you do this and tell me what your BMI is, or like your blood rate is, or your heart rate is? Okay.
Pulse. Like, the word you're looking for is pulse.
Yeah, pulse. Sorry. Like I said, long day.
What's your BMI and your blood rate?
What's your BMI, buddy? You're a little overweight. Work on that and then come see me.
Yeah, but it's like, the doctors go over all that, play 20 questions like, oh, okay. Well,
here's my thing. I'm not paying you full price for that.
Yeah, and they'll be like,
I'm not paying you at all for that, honestly, if I'm WebMDing this shit.
Yeah, but it's like, I know in my cases or in my situations, they're like, okay, well, it does sound like strep. Like, can you get to the camera, close to the camera, and go, oh yeah, your kid definitely has strep, or like you have strep. What I'll do, I'll just write a prescription, send it to Right on Girth. Couldn't ignore that comment. And I don't think it's going to make it.
It's okay. Nobody knows what we're talking about because he's used so many words that YouTube will not allow.
Yeah, COVID.
But what the funny thing is, like, so YouTube, you have to set up like tags and everything. It's a little side thing. It's not important to what we're talking about at all. But like, you have to do like the little tags and everything like that, so that people can find the videos. If you do HVAC, I will get the vaccines are effective and safe warning disclaimer thing that YouTube and Facebook and everybody else puts up because it sees that VAC in there.
Yeah. That's funny.
Like, even still to this day, I'm like, why are we even still talking about vaccines at this point?
Yeah. But, yeah, so it's like the doctors, after we do the Skype call, they're like, oh, yeah, we'll write a prescription. It'll be ready within the hour. And then what I would do is either myself or my wife, we just go down to the pharmacy, right down the road from where we live, go in, hey, doctor just called a prescription for this. Okay, here you go. Have a nice day. Never once set foot in the doctor's office where whenever, definitely when we were younger, anytime we were sick, honestly, with my mom being a nurse, she hardly took me to the doctor unless I had a temperature of 105.
We were just poor.
Yeah. Well, my mom was a nurse, and she's like, "Oh, I'll give you ibuprofen. If the fever doesn't break, then I'll take you to the doctor. Suck it up, son." Okay, mom. But like for anything like that, I'd have to go sit in the doctor's office for a couple hours, feel miserable in public, throw up a few times in the lobby. Doctor see me, how you doing today? And I look, I'm doing okay. Just a general response. That's another topic for another day. But it wasn't until I got older that I realized it's like, why the hell do I keep telling the doctor? Like, the only time I go to the doctor is when I don't feel good. And the doctor always comes, hey, how are you feeling today? And I've always responded, oh, I'm doing great. Okay, well, what brought you?
It's like when you call your insurance adjuster and they're like, how are you doing today? Well, I'm fucking talking to you. How do you think I'm doing?
Yeah. But
it's like an interesting conversation Jay and I were having the other day about like the interviews. Because I seen after Hurricane Ian came through, they had the interview with some lady. Her house was like flooded in Florida, and they're standing in like this hip high water, and the news anchors like, well, how does that make you feel? I'm like, this is why they always interview stupid people, because if they interviewed anybody with any fucking sense at all, they would be like, there goes the family photo album, it's floating away, there's the roof of the house going that way, wave. Yeah, how the fuck do you think I feel?
Yeah, I literally just lost everything, you twat.
Everything I've ever worked for is floating out into the Atlantic. So I tell you what, I'll come by your house sometime in the next 365 days, and I'll catch it on fire. I'm not going to tell you when I'm going to do it. I'll actually warn you that it's going to be 2 neighborhoods over from you, and then we'll see how you feel.
Exactly. But, yeah, as far as animation, like trying to get back on topic with the tradesmen being replaced by animatronics or whatever.
By
I
Terminators?
think,
Let's call them Terminators.
yeah, I definitely think that I feel like we're years away, and even then, like I still feel like you'll still have to have somebody with the years of experience to be able to look at something. I mean, I'll look at home building. I mean, we're well on our way to get rid of framers, but mainly I think a lot of that's just going to be as far as like resources, because concrete is somewhat recyclable because
It's also expensive.
It is, but it's also more structurally sound and everything. And it is with the 3D printers that I was talking about. It is easier to put together.
What I was driving at is, like, say for an example, like with what I do, you go to a house, you start checking everything, and I'm not going to get too deep into it, but you end up with this unit that has low suction pressure and it presents a freezing condition. Okay. And you go through everything and you look at it and you go, well, the ductwork is messed up. It's a really inefficient layout. There's not much we can do with it. And more or less, we're going to have to rip 90% of it out and replace it. Right.
Yeah.
You have to go have this conversation with the customer now. You're probably looking at, I don't know, we'll say it's $7,000 to $10,000 to redo this duct system, whatever the cost is. It's a lot of money though. Right. The customer's going to look at you and go, well, I don't want to do that. Okay. So, but you still have this issue of you've identified the problem, but you haven't resolved it.
Yeah.
And there are things that you can do to sort of treat that symptom and things like that. But I feel like that's where the automation side of it is going to get hung up, because it's not, again, it's just a computer. If this, then this. If airflow is low, correct airflow, and I think it's going to be one of those things like you need that human element in that part of it to say like, well, there's nothing we can do about that, or we can do these couple little minor things that'll help and we'll treat the symptom a little bit and we'll get you by. Or like a 2-story house. Like I know Jay runs into this a lot where the ductwork is running up through the walls. Well, we can come in here and we can rip all the sheetrock out and put new ductwork in, and it's going to cost you $30,000 to put all the sheetrock back up when we're done. Customer's going to say no.
Yeah.
Well, so I think that's where, until you get to the point where you can overcome that with the computers, which is just at that point, it's going to be artificial intelligence, and get your sledgehammers ready, because we're going to have to kill all kinds of Terminators.
Exactly. I do know.
Jay, thoughts or comments?
Yeah. Been kind of quiet, Jay.
I'm just listening. Caleb's having fun talking, so I'm kind of just letting him do it.
Just sending out memes.
I said more than that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I appreciate it, Jay. There's there is an outfit over in Japan, and I believe China has a similar system where they build skyscrapers and buildings, and it's fully automated. And all they do, so they have a program as far as building the rigid structure, like all the framework and the exterior stuff, like put the window panels and the siding and stuff on these skyscrapers. It's all automated. And
that's the direction I see it going. Because you just have the plans. You've got the blueprint where you've got one guy that just programs it in. This is how we need it to look.
Yeah, it's going to be in those.
There.
It's going to be in those cookie cutters type of situations.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's where that 3D printer with the concrete kind of gets into the whole. They all look. Yeah, they're all cookie cutter and looks that way too. But I can see it where, like, with the houses I do. So the terminology for the houses I do, like, you hear cookie cutter. Where you have my neighborhoods, we have different floor plans and elevations and selections that homeowners can have. So you do have some customization.
It's
But-
still more or less track housing at the end of the day.
And that's what it is. Like my company on the residential side, we build track houses. You do have options where you can change the elevation, floor plans, layout on the inside of the house, and everything like that. Where I could easily see, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if within the next 10 years we start seeing machinery that you can literally set over a concrete pad once it's poured, and literally just have a lumber truck come, park the trailer with all the lumber on it, and then the machine or like the computer system take over and even move lumber and still do stick frame construction, but it all be automated instead of having like a crew of 5 or 6 framers run around with hammers and nails putting everything together. You know, like
well, there's your problem. They're still using hammer and nails and not nail guns.
Lane terms. I mean, I do find it
me
funny
to say something, so now I'm just going to start saying stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, so they do use nail guns, but I do find it funny because every
That's
single
right. You
one
pick out some comments, buddy. We're going to be to that part in just a minute.
Yeah, every single one of them runs around with, you know, their hammer on their tool belt. But I've
that
sat
they
in
never
parts,
that they never take out of it.
they never take out, or the only time they take it out is to like flush up a nail that the nail gun didn't get a full throw on. You know,
I could see
well,
like in a new like for us, I could see it like being like you were talking about with skyscrapers and stuff, more in new construction situations maybe and stuff like
putting
that.
the
Even
duct work together and
yeah,
stuff.
even in industrial settings, oh well, this is where the chiller has to go. Well, that's where it goes. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, but there's still, I think, always going to be a place for humans because the machines, at least not for a long time, is not going to be figure out like, oh damn, this chiller's, we have this one in here now, we got to change it out to this one, and this piping has to be rerouted this way, and this and that, and all that type of shit. So
yeah,
we have
you need that.
really smart people called engineers that do that.
We have people called engineers.
I can't tell you how many times I've walked with this other builder because right now, because I'm still in training, they have me on the backside doing more of the detail work and closing out the houses. But I still walk houses with them when we get slab and then start framing. I can't tell you how many times we've gone into the same floor plans that my company has built for the last 10 years. And we have this same exact issue that instead of having like sending an email to the engineers explaining to them, it doesn't work this way, you have to do this. I mean, recently me and this other guy, we have done that because we're tired of seeing this over and over again. Because I saw it all the time when I was in warranty. He's seen it while he built all these houses. But it's gotten to a point where within my industry, like the framing crews are so familiar with the layout of the houses and our punch crews that have been partnered with us for years. They know that this is an issue that, yeah, the engineers say you have to build a house this way, but physically to put everything inside the walls, all the plumbing, all the HVAC, all the electrical, you have to run it outside of their plans. And
when they're trying to make every inch of the house sellable square footage and not mechanical nowadays.
Well, you and I run into it too, Jay. How many times have you seen a 12 by 12 chase that is 12 by 12, as far as the sheetrock, not the actual framing inside of it, that they want to put a 10-inch duct in with 3/4 inches of insulation on it, 2 water lines, some piping.
I used to have it all the time when I did new construction because it was like, yeah, our ductwork's
and you look at it and you go, there's not enough space in there.
Yeah, our ductwork's got to go here. Okay, so they build the place there. Well, this was an apartment building, so the bottom of those trusses, the 2x4 is laying flat, so it's 3.5 inches wide. Now above those 2x4s, it's 16 inches wide. But how the hell do I get the ductwork up into the 16-inch space when it's not wide enough down there? And
magic.
Magic. Engineering at its best.
Yeah, like
Well, then you run into other problems too, like, certain things take priority over other things. Anything life safety is going to go in first, and you're like, well, you ran your sprinkler line kind of through the center of the chase here, dude.
Yeah.
They're
well, like two things with one of our floor plans. We have two issues. One's an HVAC issue that we literally have had to move the chase. Excuse me, because the product we're building now.
What the fuck was that noise?
It's it's burping and my cat made a weird breathing.
Oh yeah, sure. Blame the cat.
But so because of trusses, like Jay was talking about, it's like, oh hey, the plan say you have to have a truss here, and we want the HVAC unit to run the main duct feed right here. Well, you can't cut through the damn truss because then you completely, eliminate all the structural support for the second floor. So what me and the other builder had to do, we literally had to go through this house with our HVAC installer and
make your duct work shorter but wider.
Yeah, no, what we did, we literally had to run everything opposite where it was the same footage, but they had to plan it to turn the HVAC unit in the attic so that the airflow and the measurements would match the M-lot for the house itself. So that way there wasn't any issues with the air output into the rest of the house. But we literally had to go, because it called for everything to go right through the center of the house. We literally had to go, half the system had to go through the front part of the house. The other half we had to hide in the back part of the house and create our own niches and pack out 2 walls to be able to get the ductwork in to make it work. And then once we did all that, we sent it to the engineers. This is what you have to rewrite the plans to. The other thing with the same house, on the options, if the homeowner decides to have a door on the water closet where the toilet is, it throws off where the main light switch for the house is, where it's literally in between 2 doors that open let's see, hold on. So you got the 2 doors. Oh shit, throwing me off. So you have these 2 doors. You got the one entering the bathroom and then the one for the water closet. They both literally open like this. And then right in between the 2 doors, you have to reach into a hole to flip the main switch to turn lights on in the bathroom. But then the rest of the switches for the fans and the other lights are on the complete opposite wall just because of how the plans are run for that setup. But yet if the homeowner selects one that doesn't have the water closet door, all the switches are on that far wall. And it's just real funky. But
that's enough out of you.
It's something
Jay,
I used to run
comments.
into all the time. Just a real quick thing, just touching on what he said, is when I was doing new homes, they were famous for, in this particular home style, I don't even remember what it was called now, but on the first floor of the house, they had like these big, because like you've been to my house, just like an entryway like between my living room and my kitchen, and but they would have a big, real big one, and it was like pulling teeth to get them to change the width of it by like, I'm talking, it was just like literally move it one bay this way, to the left or to the right, what they would want to do. And they wouldn't do it because the only place in the basement to run the ductwork, there was a crush block there. If people don't know what a crush block is where the archway is and the posts come down, there's a block underneath those sitting on top of a steel beam. So that way the load of those posts coming down for, transferring the load from the second floor through to that archway down to the basement, it just doesn't punch through the floor. And it was just pulling fucking teeth trying to get them to change anything. So I love engineers. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, well, a lot of it, it is the fact that it's all, engineered down to, the in detail. And, like we were talking about, people go out and they just, like what you and I do, Jay, what do you pull your vacuum to? 500 microns. Why do you pull it to 500 microns? Because the book says 500. Yeah, but where does 500 come from? Comes from the book. Yes, but somebody at some point decided that was the correct number.
Yeah.
and they don't know where that number came from. Just that number exists, and that's the number.
They decided that was the magic number, and that number has now since changed because, well, people are idiots.
Yeah, it's 500 because it's a nice round number. It's 500.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want $500?
As far as comments, we could do both the KCs at 920 and 929.
920.
So 920. I'm an HVAC contractor for the United States federal government.
Hopefully, KC is still in the chat or in the.
Yeah, I take care of 27-story high-rise, primarily houses the FBI, ATF, and Army Corps of Engineers, OSHA, General Service Administration employees, all that type of shit. Homeland
Can
Security.
you deliver a message to the ATF for me?
No, I actually can't. I'm very, very, very rarely allowed in there. Them and
No,
the
just
FBI,
slip it under the door. You probably want to do it anonymously anyway.
That's a really bad idea. I would probably be better off walking in the door, because at least I could say, "Oh, sorry, I just had to tell you something real quick," because everything else would. No, not CIA, the U.S. federal government. As I said, ATF, all that stuff.
He's now doing black ops for the U.S. government.
Pretty much. Homeland Security's in there. And then all your other oddball ones, IRS, Social Security Administration, and all that type of stupid shit. So there's a mixture pretty much of all the weird government entities you could think of kind of crammed into one tower. And then across the street is the United States Federal Courthouse. So there's the lockup cells over there, and judges and district attorneys and attorney generals and all that type of stuff. And then the other one he had was for Caleb at 929.
All right. Let's see. Other news with the couple who canceled their new home after doing the walkthrough. Yeah, it's kind of become a running joke with the company now, up to our division presidents in a positive light.
Like how you said it was a joke, didn't they? Threaten to fire you.
So they never threatened to fire me. The first 3 days,
it's just heavily implied.
The first 3 days after it happened, it literally everybody up to corporate was, "What did you do wrong? And why did they cancel? Like, it's your fault." And it also, I mean, it was kind of like that perfect storm scenario that we did a few months ago.
It's a great movie.
At work. Well,
It is a great movie.
It is a great movie, but I'm talking about when we did the live stream.
That George Clooney, he is sexy. Oh, wait a minute.
Mark Wahlberg, too.
Yeah.
I'd eat his butt.
Right?
But
the chick that he met right before he left, she was pretty good looking.
I bet you Caleb's regret having me talk now.
No, not at all, man.
There's not a day that goes by that chick from that movie should go without a crispy pickle. I think we can all agree on that.
Amen. So
I don't want him to be without one either. Christ.
That's true.
I'll season that bitch with some Old Bay if he wants me to.
Old Bay, I like it.
I'll add some Old Bay for my new Bay.
But
that was 10 live streams ago, by the way.
Yeah, that house was supposed to be the first one to close in the neighborhood at the start of our quarter, and it caused us to miss the number by one house. Wonderfully enough, and that's why everyone kind of lost their shit, because it threw off the matrix, and they're like, well, now we need to sell another house or 2 more houses next month and all this other stuff. But since then, all the houses that I have closed and all the homeowners I've interacted with, I've gotten 3 Google 5-star reviews. So everyone after the first 3 days, they kind of thought those people were kind of crazy.
You dumb bastard! I know the company you work for.
Yeah.
Who? Caleb.
Yeah, but I got a couple of 5-star reviews about how company was great, homeowner was happy with the house, and then
he left my butthole for free.
Yeah, pretty much.
I kept telling him stop.
Yeah, so it was.
One.
it was the thing. It was it was pretty funny that the homeowners or the company that like everyone now wants to like, oh yeah, it was definitely those buyers, not you. Sorry about that. But if if you do that, do it before.
Oh
they're
my
around.
God.
So
Oh, she has a PhD too. I bet you she used all the correct grammar.
who?
I don't want to say her name.
Oh, you found
She
it?
probably has lawyers.
Probably.
Oh, it's not a
If
good
you-
review.
If you send me the name of Caleb's company, I'll leave him some reviews.
Please, please don't, Nick.
Oh no, I'm not.
I'll put like
just-
6 anonymous reviews on there saying 5-star how terrific you were.
Oh no, I'm just reading this lady's
I'll
review.
boost your numbers up.
It's bad, bro.
Oh no, so we definitely do have some bad ones. It's not from my neighborhood.
Let's see. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paragraphs and pictures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, you have to scroll the pictures, bro. Dude, this is like 10 photos. All right, this is definitely for after the show.
Casey says to read,
Yeah.
read the review.
No, let's
I'll read the first paragraph.
yeah, let's hear it. I'm interested. Honestly, I probably know who it is, but it's not a review of me. It's a review of a different neighborhood.
Well, there's only one that's got a PhD in here, so
Yeah. Which
So-
neighborhood?
well, I
Hold on.
hang on.
Text
hang
me
on,
the
hang
neighborhood
on,
real
hang on,
quick.
hang on.
Yeah.
Let me do this. Thanks for talking and keeping me covered while I type that in, boys. Good job.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
All right, so this is a 1-star. On closing day, the home was a total disaster. They left many things to be done during the warranty period and reiterated, which she spelled reiterated correctly, to our realtor that we would be charged a fee per day we delayed closing.
Oh, yeah. No, I know this one. I know the dude. Sorry, just read it. You can read this one. I know the entire backstory.
You sure?
Yeah. Just don't say the neighborhood or mention any names of the company, and we're good. Because I
let me
don't think
see.
anyone
Let me
knows who I work for. They just know I
There's
work
one name in here. Yeah, all right. Let me do that so I don't say that guy's name by accident. Okay. On closing day, we found issues with kitchen lights, destroyed landscaping off a wet cement path, dirt and trash everywhere. It's a construction site, lady. Let's calm the fuck down. Zero quality control issues. Oh, zero quality control issues we mentioned during our new home orientation not addressed. Mismatched cabinet hardware, missing mirrors, missing shelves, no pressure clean. I think she means they didn't pressure wash the house. Not sure what that means.
I
The list goes on. I got the impression the company does not care about quality or finishing the house. No, they don't care about finishing the house. It's not like how they get paid. Use another builder. See, our project manager, and in my opinion, he should not be customer facing. Oh, that doesn't make sense because I did not give the guy's name.
text me the name because I don't think he works for us anymore. If it's a house I'm thinking of.
Starts with a C. Starts with a C and sounds a lot like Riss.
Oh no, I know who it is. I
Does this person work for us?
No, yeah, he's still employed, and he is actually the better builder out there right now.
Oh, he does the good work. That's bad.
Yeah, no.
Okay, let's do this. Our project manager would frequently misrepresent what was completed. Oftentimes, X is working on Y as we speak. Meant I called X to work on Y next week, and they may or may not be coming. Well, that's subcontractors, lady. They be like that sometimes. It was evident he oftentimes was unaware of what was going on in the house and would spout out nonsensical excuses with no timelines when questioned. He had an attitude when we were upset that it seemed like. Wait, what the fuck? He had an attitude when we were upset that it seemed that nothing was getting done. He assured us multiple times everything would be done by the first close date. Lo and behold, it was not done, and the company had to move the close date. That happens all the time. Even on the close date when everything was not complete, the builder pressured us to put in a warranty claim for things that should have been completed prior to closing. If that's true, I feel like she may have a point there. When you buy a brand new house, this is not the nonsense you should be dealing with. The home is filled with shoddy workmanship and poor quality that, in my experience, was evident throughout the process in my discussions with the builder. I attached photos from our fun surprises on closing day. Well, at least she's having a good time. All right. And then we have an update to this. I don't know if you know about the update. Caleb.
Caleb.
I may.
Okay. Well, fuck it. Let's go with it. Fun update. One of the rooms in the home was consistently 85 degrees, and we just found out that the builder did not put any insulation on the exterior walls of that room. That is in all caps. Further, the builder has just expressed that they are not going to be fixing the issue in that room. Find another builder. I cannot shred. Well, if you didn't like it, why the fuck did you buy the house, retard? Oops.
Might as well say fags now too.
Yeah, it's out there.
Yeah.
It's all out there
so the backstory on this house, and that lady, she does have some valid points. So this house in that time frame that this house closed, we had just hired a guy. He had just been transferred out there. On that product in that neighborhood is like our higher end product. No last name. But anyways, so it started out in this one guy's name. He stayed with the company for a month that he was out there, got this house, and then he didn't do anything on it. The other guy that you saw.
Okay, good to know. We'll make it an every few episode thing. We'll do that more.
Yeah.
I actually have some picked up from one of my old places for us to
Do
read.
we?
I do.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so it was assigned to one guy who didn't give a fuck anymore.
No.
Yeah, he didn't try to get anything done. This other guy, we sent him out there, who is he is a very good builder, and he tried to get everything basically unfucked, and he explained everything to the lady, stuff like that. As far as the insulation part, that was confirmed. They did not tell her that they would not put insulation in the walls. But at the same time, there was insulation in the wall. It wasn't the wall; it was insulation in the attic. She kept trying to say it was in the wall. In order for the house to get to that point of sale, before drywall.
I don't understand what a lot of her pictures here are.
Yeah. So, in order for any of our houses to get drywall put up, any exterior wall has to have insulation in there, and the county municipality inspectors, they will not pass the house unless insulation is like past the inspection. Like There was insulation in the wall. There was a spot up in the attic that was missed over that room because of her floor plan. And what happened was our HVAC company, they cut the hole for the chase to run the air ducts, but the hole's just big enough to get the air ducts in. They don't cut it big enough for the insulators to come and do blown insulation over the rooms on that floor plan.
Wish Google would let me look at like just her pictures and scroll through them.
Yeah. Yeah. That's that. That was definitely a fun one.
Dude, she's got a picture of like I gotta I wish I could show this without like showing her name, because this is hilarious. She's got a picture of, quote, the trash on the ground. It's literally a wrapper for a cough drop.
Nice. Can you take? You could probably do like a screen, like a snippet, and then show that.
You'll probably either that or do a screenshot and just black her name out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not worth it. What other comments you got, Jay? We'll move on.
Dude, her pictures make like no sense though, because she takes like a picture from like 50 feet away, and it's like, what are you trying to show us?
Well, and I can also tell you that
like, I don't see anything wrong in this. Yeah. You know,
as far as that neighborhood's concerned, there's 8 different builders in that community, and literally we have.
Oh my God, the trash inside the house that you referenced is one box of trash that actually looks like the cable company shit, like they were in there putting the boxes and the modem in.
Probably.
Which you guys have very little control over the cable company.
If any.
Yeah. A lot of the negative reviews we have, like if you look at them,
it's just people that don't understand construction mostly.
They don't understand it, and then they like, because I know in my time in One Tree T, I'd have people, well, my house that was built in 1983 never had any of these issues. Well, I hate to tell you this, when your house was built in 1983, people took pride in their work. Nowadays, people.
Well, not only that, too, you're probably not the first owner of that either, and
yeah, you probably
somebody else found all the problems for you.
Yeah. Well, it's like my house right now. Like I'm still finding issues with my house, and I'm fixing them as I find them. You know, is it time consuming? Yes. Does it cost money? Yes. Guess what? That's the perks of homeownership.
There's one where she took a picture of like the handrail. You know, the stairs going between the floors. You know, they mitered the cut when they made the cut. You know, a little splinter of wood popped out. I'm like, that's something that the guy that put the handrail on probably never even saw. That's going to take like 35 seconds to fix with some wood putty.
No, that's poor quality work. That's a lot
poor quality.
What else?
He should have known there was a knot right there.
There's not too much other stuff directed at any specific topic, so
we'll address this one real quick. We're trying to get better about that.
Yeah.
None of us are any more or any less dead than we were before. I mean, we are dead, but...
Well, I'm probably more dead than I was before, but that's just because I got older over the course of that month. So I'm closer to death now than I was then.
Girth said a bunch of things that we can't put on the screen.
Right. Other than maybe
what about
like,
the 202?
I love your fuzzy beers. The who?
Which one?
The 1002 PM.
Oh, 1002?
Yeah.
This one?
Bring back the good old log cabin.
Hell yeah, man. Nothing like a good old log cabin to warm up by the fire.
I'm sorry, Girth, but are you making the quote unquote duck face in your picture? Kind of looks like it.
It does.
What is he holding in his hand?
Girth, we need elaboration on what you were doing.
I have thoughts, but I don't think we can say that.
He might be a fan of DeWalt.
Maybe.
If that's a thing over there.
God damn, we really didn't have that many comments.
Just a
they
lot
have
of
Milwaukee
stuff
over there, I know that.
It can't be said.
Just we got a bunch of ones that we can't put on the screen.
True, because YouTube didn't let it go up. Oh, another news. I got a framing nailer. Milwaukee M18.
We'll have to say that for another day, buddy. We're at an hour and 20 minutes. People are going to be falling asleep.
Hell, I'm almost asleep.
See?
Cool. We'll
And I'm
wrap this
part
up.
of it.
It's home.
All right. Well, as always, like, comment, share, subscribe. We're trying to grow this. I'm trying to get some people to come on the thing. So if you guys grow this a little bit, we can get some people on here. You can not hear us three idiots talk about something. You can hear us three idiots plus another potential idiot.
I like
Up
the
to 4.
Make it grow and come.
Well, on that note, Jay, any parting words of wisdom?
How quickly are you prepared to end this video? Don't be a
Let's
fag.
see.
Use
I'll
Milwaukee.
click the button. We'll see if you can beat the little spinny circle.
Oh, it's too late. It's already out now.
Oh, okay.
I was retarded enough to say it.
There you go. We said that again. Good night, everybody.
Good night.